Here's the big question. How is it that most entrepreneurs hustle and are always busy and struggle to take just one step forward only to fall two steps back? They're dedicated, determined, and driven, but only a few finally break through and win. This show uncovers those quantum leap patterns of highly successful people so you can simply model what they do and apply to your future success. That's the question, and the answers are right here. My name is Brigitte Höfele, and this is the Success Patterns Show. And that is right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. The Success Patterns Show. My name is Brigitte Höfele. I am the founder of the Success Patterns Movement and the CEO of the Center of NLP. And we put, not just today, but every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern, we put the do in learn, do, teach here in the Success Patterns Show. We have a great show for you today. And when people ask about the Success Patterns Show, some people are like, success patterns, what do I understand? Or what does it mean when you say success patterns? Let's decipher it really quick. Success, interesting thing, because it shapes its meaning with the individual person that either is looking for success or already has success, because it's not limited to one specific area. It can be in business, it can be in personal life, it can be in relationship, it can be, you fill in the blank, wherever you are looking for already have success. And because success is such a unique concept, within the Success Pattern Show, we give you the scaffolding to build your own empire, because success comes in patterns. It comes in these steps. And when we can decode those steps, when we can decode those patterns that led to success of the special guests that we have on this show, that also then means that you can then encode it for your own success right now, today, implement it. And as humans, we're hardwired for hands-on application by living teachers. That's why we are here. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We're here, they're grandmasters at work in the Success Pattern Show, where we have tips on how you can follow what our guest experts model. The term pattern is a very simple definition. It's an example for others to follow. So pay close attention. I sure hope that you have something to write with and something to write on, because you're going to want to take notes. We have an incredible guest expert here today. And this is how she's going to, when I asked her, how do you intend to add value to the show? She says, I am speaking with authenticity in the world of social media. Can we just pause here for a second, okay? Staying authentic in the world of social media almost sounds like an oxymoron, right? And I'm so excited that we have her in the show today, because it is all about empowerment, specifically of women. But boy, I know she can empower anyone. How we can uplift each other by letting go of gatekeeping and competition. She was on the National External Communications Manager for the 2017 Women's March in Washington, and helped train hundreds of sisters march organizers and supported their creation of nonprofits afterwards. So she is a community organizer. She knows how it works lifelong, and she also knows what it means to pace oneself and to be gentle with each other and be gentle to ourselves. She's an expert digital strategist with very high results, including projects such as, and we're going to talk about this, passing a $6.6 billion, that is with a B, billion-dollar bond measure for the largest park district in the USA. There's a tie into success pattern, and that she is able to do of all of that despite a diagnosis of her severe ADHD. And I want to learn more from her. She's a business strategist. She's a technology expert. Jasmine Partida is here to give us a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes, but also be an impactful force in who she is and what she knows with a big heart. She creates viral messaging by authentically connecting companies to their audience across social media channels. She's passionate about the empowerment of women and civic leadership. She's consulted on inclusivity and communications with over 400 groups and nonprofits and companies, and launched a podcast, When Women Speak, in 2019 to bring forth those women's stories. And I know that we can learn. I know that I'm going to learn a whole lot today by having her on. So if you are not sitting in a car, I ask you to stand on your feet and give a warm, warm welcome to Miss Jasmine Partida. Jasmine, thank you so much for being here.
I love the idea that people are standing on their feet in other places. That's amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be an incredible conversation today. And I'm personally excited about it because there are people out there, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking. I mean, we're streaming on all social media platforms, right? And there are people out there that are using social media for in one way or another. And some people, some of my clients included, have completely given up on social media because it's just, everyone is like me, but me, but you got to look at me, you got to look at my stuff and what I have, and it's just, it gets too much, it gets overwhelming, it gets fill in the blanks, it gets all of that. How do you help clients when they come with you with a mindset like that?
It's funny that you use the word overwhelming because that is a word I use often in my messaging of like, I know you're feeling overwhelmed. I know you are. There's a lot of noise in social media at every level. I got sucked into TikTok for 30 minutes this morning. That was not what I was supposed to be doing. But there was some, that short videos and that movement and that noise. But the way that I help clients is by coming in and going, okay, we're going to get crystal clear on what your goal of being on social media is, who you want to connect with, and what kind of value you're going to bring them to. And for a business, what is the journey you're moving them through? So everything else we're going to let go of. There's a million different ways that you can show up. There's a million different things you can say. There's a million different ways you can create content. Finding a process that works in your existing process, finding a message that connects really laser focused to your audience, and letting go of everybody else. You're not for everybody. You're not here to compete with them. You're just here to show up with what you have and speak to your audience. And then how do you move them through to where you can really help them at the next level?
So you said a lot of things, and people that know what social media
Yeah.
is, it would mean actually something to them. But for the people that are like, they are that in that overwhelm, right? I think all they are looking for is being seen and being heard.
So if you're doing it for business, being seen is and being heard. I mean, I appreciate that that can feel really overwhelming still, but what that means is we're gonna stop looking what other people are doing and only focus on what you want to say, and then creating the content, which is just posts, creating the posts for people, for your audience, and then connecting with other people. I mean, the idea of social media was always just to connect people. That was the whole idea. So when we're coming on for business, we have this moment of coming in thinking, well, I'm gonna do it the same way I did my personal one. It's gonna be the same kind of thing. But for business, it's a little different. So you have to kind of step back and think about, why do people follow business pages? What are they looking for? They're not following so you can sell to them. They're following because they want to see the behind the scenes stuff. They want to see the office dog. They want to hear about your employees. They want to know, right now, a big thing is values. People want to know your values, that they're aligned, that they understand who you are as a company. And so when you just start coming back to those core pieces of your company, you can really start engaging people, and they automatically start coming in because they're drawn to that realness that you're showing up with in this noisy space.
Ooh, I love what you just said, because I would have never thought, me personally, and I'm not big on social media other than what we do with the show. I would have never thought of, Magnus, our office dog, who you might or might not hear on today's show, because he has a voice and he clearly also wants to be heard and seen. But I would have never thought of showcasing him in some sort of fashion.
Yet people want to know that the businesses are real, especially, like I said, value. There was this whole movement in 2017 about voting with your wallet, and just really being only supporting businesses that you understood and related to. And that has moved into values and having just businesses that take care of their employees, that have a good, non-toxic kind of environment, that really support their community. So when you're able to showcase that, it's very connecting and very empowering and inspiring. You end up inspiring other business owners. It's like, oh, that's an amazing program they do for their employees. I would never have known had they not put it on their socials. So I think that's something to remember as well.
Now, one of your superpowers is to simplify the tech side and also bring in a very unique and not just unique, but authentic messaging.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So what I do, it's funny. Often what I'll do is I'll start with if I can get a whole board of directors, if I can get the whole room of all of the top team, the executive suite, whatever it is, and get them all together, and we go through a couple of exercises. What is the feeling you want people to feel when they think of your company? What word do you want associated with your company? What word is being associated now? And we go through this series where we really identify as a group and as a team what is the goal of utilizing social media and how they want to showcase their skills in their different pieces of messaging, their products, and all these pieces. Because even if you sell pool noodles, you're still solving a problem for somebody, and you still have creative ways you can showcase that. So it's really not even about the item, it's about connecting the message of your company and the item and your audience. And so we bring everybody together and do these exercises. And then I boil it
Oh,
way down to like a 3-word phrase that people, when they see it, they immediately go, oh, okay, I know what that means. I understand that. And then you build out narrative around that, and it just grows from there.
and it sounds like from there, anything that you do for that company or for that business or for that person sounds authentic like they sound. It doesn't sound like you pretending to be them.
No, it's their words. It's the words that when nobody was around, when they weren't guarded, when they weren't trying to stand in front of a crowd, they were just like, this is why I work for this company. This is why it's important to me to get our product out in front of people. This is why we're special and unique and why we solve problems for people in a way that nobody else is. Those moments, that wording is where you really get that authentic piece of who you are as a company. So when you take that and you're not afraid to put it out there and use it, it's a little bit of a leap of faith for some people because they're used to that kind of more guarded, marketing. When we used to have print marketing and things, that is not where we are today. And when you let go and allow yourself to do that, it's really engaging.
I want to pick up on the word guarded because you said it several times now, and I feel like, and this is I am not a social media expert whatsoever, but I do feel like that the majority of people that are on social media are somewhat guarded and are portraying a life or a business or portraying whatever they're portraying in a guarded way, in a very I'm going to call it slivered way, right? They're only showing us one little sliver of the whole reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's if you and I mean I don't know how many people here that are watching are on TikTok. A lot of people still think of it as a young person's platform. Whether you like it or not, what it has proven is that people want that really autistic showing up. If you don't want to go to TikTok, but you want to see what I'm talking about, look up Elise Myers. She's always got her hair in a messy bun. She talks about this crazy date that she had where this guy bought her 100 tacos. It is 3 minutes of just pure joy. She's completely just herself, and it is the highest viewed TikTok video because people are just drawn to this authentic. We don't need to be anything other than what we are. And I know that's a little different for businesses, but we're coming out of this phase of being that really highly curated Kardashian kind of feed, which, to be honest, aligns very clearly with Instagram. And if you look at Instagram, they're struggling to find where they are and where they fit into social media now because people are looking for more authentic things. So if you're a company that is willing to really lean into that, it's going to be huge for you.
So you're saying if you're a company, be on TikTok?
Well, you can be, absolutely. I have a number of clients that I've got on TikTok. I mean, there's
That's
publishers, there's companies, there's entrepreneurs, there's solopreneurs on TikTok.
so talk to me more on it. I in the introduction, I quickly highlighted the bond measure for the largest park district in the US. Share with us more how you did that and what did you do?
So we were doing a bond measure for 2018 for the parks, and it was in the Bay Area, and it was about safety, and it was about making sure that it was climate change, safety, and then accessibility. So it's expensive, and it's only going to get more expensive. That's how the world is. And so it was going to raise $6.6 billion, this bond measure over 20 years. But that's a message that's hard to grasp. So what we did is we really boil it down to the authentic community piece of $12 a household, $12 a year from each household will give you accessible, safe parks for a lifetime. And that's a message that just really resonated. We want parks, we want open access, we want safety. And it wasn't this big, complicated campaign. It literally was just a simplified message of this is what the community is going to benefit from it.
That is beautiful and genius and simple. But I think what the word that, because there are many words that come to mind, but the word that really comes to mind is connection, right?
Connection.
There's a purpose and there's a connection.
There is.
Now on a two-dimensional screen, and specifically, coming out of the pandemic, how do you create such authenticity and connection and community?
You have to be willing to listen as a company, as a brand, as an entrepreneur. You have to be part of a conversation. You're not just showing up and saying, here I am selling you this thing. You are part of building a community. One of the programs that I have is called Build Your Movement. It's the idea that we don't need to build a follower list. We don't need 10,000 followers. That's amazing if you have them, congratulations. But 10,000 followers does not necessarily equate 10,000 sales or even 5,000 sales. But you might have 100 followers that are super, super engaged and really, really connecting to your message. And then each of them are buying from you. I've absolutely seen higher results from smaller accounts than from larger accounts because you're connecting and building an actual community and movement around your brand. So like you mentioned the Women's March, that was so big in what it was because it had a simple message that connected a community of people together, that everybody felt a little empowerment in, a little piece of ownership in. So as a brand, when you listen and say, yes, we hear you, and yep, that makes sense, and we're going to add that to what we're doing, and we'd love to have people come in and talk to us about this, and you build more of a conversation, and your social posts are building conversation places where people can respond and actually communicate and connect with you, it really draws people in and you build that larger movement around your brand.
So there's the, I think we've all experienced it at some point in social media, the, oh, look at me, look at my car, look at my house, look at my, look at my whatever body parts, clothes, whatever you have to look at, right? We all know what I'm talking about. Come on. Yeah. But you said something earlier when we were still offline, and rather than focusing on that, you said, because I asked you, how do you create create that balance and being grounded and being present with the people? How do you create that balance and that grounding?
Well, it's switching what you're highlighting. So instead of highlighting the fancy car or the, whatever body part, I guess, what you start highlighting is that moment of truth of this, I finally found a bathing suit. Instead of like, look at this, my body in this bathing suit, you're actually highlighting, I finally found a bathing suit that I feel okay being at the beach and with my kids, or even just my boyfriend. You don't even have to have kids, right? But I found this thing that really made me feel okay to show up as myself. I paid for this car off. I worked really hard for it. I love it. It's my favorite thing that I've done because it was a gift to myself. So you've still taken that item and you've turned it around to what the actual authentic piece in the small grounded moment is, instead of the, I'm just going to be showy to be showy. You've brought it back down to why it matters and why it's important.
Is there a story? So we're looking for the deeper, authentic story behind the item or what's happening in the moment.
Yeah. And I think that where, if we're talking about businesses, that's really tough because businesses they're not used to historically showing that. But people are hungry for it right now.
Yeah.
And that, I said, is kind of what we're seeing with that. Instagram is switching up their algorithm every couple of months, trying to figure out how to be more like TikTok, because TikTok is allowing people to show up and sell and connect and build community without any of the curated things that are on the other platforms. Not to make fun, not to pick on Instagram, but just that it's the authentic piece that people are just really hungry for. And the other thing is, if you're having issues coming to social media and you're feeling like there's a lot of noise and this is just too busy of a space for me, I just can't even handle the craziness of it, just switch up who you're following. You might have accidentally curated your own space that is a little toxic for you or for your business and isn't connecting. Oh. Go ahead and just take an afternoon, whatever you need to do, and just sit down. And if you're a social media manager, you're doing it for a company, sit down and really go through and go, okay, who should we actively research? Who should we really be connecting to? And be more intentional about the community you are in online as an individual and as a business.
Yeah, Brian just says authenticity is key, and I agree with both of you, right? And I yeah, I love that authenticity piece. Um, I want to hear from you, Jasmine. I'm really interested and curious. Out of all of the work that you do, what would you say is a red flag or you avoid most?
In what regard? Like as far as clients, like or
And when you are working with a client and they want to do XYZ on social media.
um that doesn't align with their business, you mean? Is that what you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a red flag if somebody is trying to do something that doesn't align with their social media. Um, oh, I know. So they will say, I just need to. It's always that phrase where I'm like, oh, okay, now we're gonna stop and rewind and see what is your actual goal. You don't just need to is usually a way of trying to jump forward and miss all the work of actually building community. And part of having a community around your brand, your message, and your business is connecting with the community, not just saying, I have a community. So if they say, I just need to sell this many, or I just need to XYZ, I'm like, that's not what we're doing in social media. It's the beginning of where people meet you and then you move them through to those sales. But this moment isn't your sales page. Your social media is about connecting with people. It's not this, the sell can be in there, but it's not the goal of the social media piece.
So do you find that the clients that you might first meet with or the business owners are very still have that very transactional
Mhm.
mindset of this is what needs to get done. I want to get, it's very quantifiable, right? I
Yeah,
can count how much either revenue or people that are following or product slash service sold. That's all very, but it's very transactional.
it is. It's
Your
great if you're running ads. That's fine. And I often will do that. I'm like, okay, that's an ad campaign. So we can create that ad campaign, but let's keep the organic piece of your social media more focused on your brand and the authentic connection. So it gives them both the organic growth and and the paid growth, to be honest, through the sales, and it brings the two together. Because if somebody sees an ad, they're going to connect, click on your page to see if you're really who you said you were in the ad. So I've done that work on the page to really show that it's true, and that builds trust, and that gets you the sale anyway.
So there's an alignment, there's an
Yeah.
authenticity, and there's an alignment of what you say you're going to do and what you're actually doing is what I said earlier. We don't just walk the walk, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk, right?
Right. Correct.
Why do you do what you do? What's the
I'm the
purpose?
I'm the only person I know who loves social media. When I tell people that, like business meetings and things, meetups, networking, they're always like, "Oh, that's not true." I'm like, "No, it is 100% true." I love it because it is this. I'm from a family of small business. Business owners. I've run small businesses. I have small businesses and nonprofits. And what I find is that until this moment in social media, there was no competing. There was no understanding how to connect. There was no platform for us to connect. And now suddenly, someone who has this beautiful, brilliant idea, this wonderful business, but just nobody has seen it or heard of it, now has the ability, frankly, for free through organic social media reach, to reach hundreds of thousands of people and really get their product out there, their service out there, and connect with people that need what they have and compete in a way we've never been able to before. And that to me is amazing. It's an amazing thing. The power is unbelievable.
So there is a competitive side in you, but I think
Uh,
the competitive side is not as dominant as the heart-centeredness of
It's no,
Jasmine.
even I would disagree with that. I think even what I'm saying is heart centered because it's here's your mom and pop shop that is, putting kids through college, that is doing all, changing generational wealth for families for multiple generations to come because they had the power of social media. That's beautiful and amazing and really worthwhile.
You said earlier, and thank you for that. You said earlier that you are really good at taking companies or people their social media platform or their social media account viral.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I know. I also said that I've been looking for a different term, but I haven't found one yet that people can connect to quickly. So I'm just able to really get that messaging tight so that when people, and then I do it with graphics and process. So what I do is instead of putting on this whole machine around social media that is unsustainable for a company, is I simplify it and put it within their existing workflows. So it's not this extra thing they're doing. So it becomes something they can build consistently. I boil that message down to something that's in 3 seconds. People go, oh, that's what that means. And then I put graphics and images with it throughout the social media campaign so that it aligns and builds that trust and really shows visually what the company is about and what that message is about. So by doing that, I make shareable content. So social media is all about connecting, right? You're talking about numbers and things. See, I could talk about this forever, and I know we're kind of low on time, but so the number you don't want to look at is followers. You want to look at engagement. How many people are engaging, liking, sharing, commenting on your posts? Because if they do any of those things, some of their friends will see it and some of their friends, and it goes out that way. So what I do is accounts. Most of my clients have accounts between 500 to 5,000 people when they come to me, and I generally get them a reach of 20, 50,000. I've got one account that regularly goes to 150,000 in the reach of who they're connecting with. 30 shares, 50 shares, 100 shares on those posts, because people just connect with the message in such a way that they automatically want to share it and be part of that message. So that's how I get them past their follower counts.
I love that. Yeah, and that makes absolute sense. So I learned so much already. Many things I've heard before, but they never connected or never clicked that way. What would be your public service announcement to the people that want to go somewhere and buy followers?
Oh,
this is your moment to have the public service announcement.
I'm excited. I didn't know this moment was coming. This is a huge thing for me. Please don't do this. So when you buy followers, for one thing, well, they're fake, so that's sad. That's not sales. But secondarily, what social media platforms do is they want people to stay on their platform. So they'll show your content when you, let's say you post a graphic. They will show it to a couple people, if a couple of your followers. If nobody interacts with it, they'll be like, this is not quality content, and they won't show it to more people. If you've bought followers or done follow for follow back, any kind of sneaky way around this, they won't engage with your content. The platforms will say this content's not interesting, and sometimes you have to restart your entire account because you can't get out in front of those bots. So please don't do that.
Yeah, thank you. I figured you would say something like that, and I wanted to give you the platform.
Thank you.
So, so there were so many incredible success strategies that you shared with us, and boy, I've made some notes, and you and I need to have a conversation outside of this success pattern show. But how do the people, the folks that are watching this show right now, how do they get in touch with you?
I made my website my name. It's jasminepartida.com. You got to keep it simple. So you can go to my website and all my stuff is on there. You can book 15 minutes and we can chat. I love connecting with people, so please feel free to connect with me. Yep, that's my Facebook, or you can go to my my website and see the different services I have as well.
So Jasmine, JasminePartida.com. Jasmine Partida. Very simple, just as Brigitte Höfele, only even more simple, .com, JasminePartida.com. Now, Jasmine, you also brought something for our viewers. Share a little bit more what you brought.
Yeah, so I have a masterclass on called the Simplicity of Socials. And what that does is it literally, it's 2 hours and it walks you through creating an entire strategy. And then I explain like how to build a movement, how to create 66 pieces of content in about an hour, how I create content in a way that is sustainable. And it has all these different elements together in about a 2.5 hour course. Because I really want businesses to be able to do this for themselves to the level that they are interested in doing so. Yeah, I think it's powerful. I think if you're not on social media at least a little bit, people wonder where you are also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. And wrap my head around that. So I'm putting it as a ticker down here, www.jasminepartida.com/social-media-course. So social media course with dashes in between each word, jasminepartida.com/social media course. Definitely hook up with Jasmine. Not does she, because I have met and I'm pretty sure that our viewers today can relate to that. I have met social media experts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have met social media experts with heart is I don't think that's ever something that I have said before.
Oh.
And I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was just thinking, the piece that we didn't get to, of course, was that once you realize your own power and your unique voice when you're showing up on social media, the competition pieces go out the window, and that's when we can really start supporting each other as well.
Yes. And that is the beautiful benefit and result of the work that we put in.
Yeah.
And for anyone that has missed that, it must be authentic for us to connect. That's what I'm walking away with today. Jasmine, thank you so much for being here. I would love to have you back at a later time so we can dive deeper into some other strategies, because I know we can talk all day.
All day.
That would be easy.
To meet you. Thank you.
It's beautiful that you were here at the Success Pattern Show. Guys, get with Jasmine Partida. Thank you, Jasmine, for being here. And I will say, tune in again next Tuesday, same time, same place, Success Pattern Show. Until then, ciao and bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Success Pattern Show at www.thesuccesspatternshow.com. My name is Brigitte Höfele.